Hey everybody, it is not Thursday morning at 10 a.m. It is Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. because we have a very special guest today. Stacy, who's our guest?
We have our friend SVP Alec Hanson on, and let's bring him on in.
Woo! Oh, he was 2 seconds. I saw the flex.
I know. I was backstage. I thought I could do stuff backstage, and now you just pulled me in, so I can't talk anymore.
Alec probably just finished like a 1-hour presentation to all our new hires, so we super appreciate you being on now. It's a crazy day for you.
I know. I'm all fired up because I love talking to the new people at the company. It's super fun.
How many do we have?
Oh, I think it was like 70 or 80.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's super great.
Love it. So we got a sneak peek from Alec before we started, and he's actually standing in his garage right now. Mm-hmm. Can't tell, but he is.
That's a nice garage. Nice high ceilings.
Oh, no, you can tell. I'm happy to show everybody. Like, I've green screened the entire garage because I have a sales rally coming up, and I built a big virtual stage. And so I've green screened the whole thing. I've been practicing. I have a wireless mic, and we're gonna have this full stage set up. It's gonna be super fun and dorky, and it's all good.
So I'm kind of interested in that. So this is like, so you're gonna have a sales rally for your division.
Yep.
All virtual.
Oh yeah, all virtual. Yeah.
Are you gonna have like different guests coming in, or like why do you need the whole garage green screened? Are you gonna be acting? What are you gonna be doing?
So I'm going to try something here. I have never, this is just my first time doing this, but we'll see if it works. I'm going to try to, I was playing with it right before this. Wait, I got to make it external. This is the crazy thing about the internet. Yeah, the green screen's not working perfectly, but it should be fine. Switch cameras. Welcome to my studio.
Whoa.
So let me turn off the green screen there. It's not working perfectly, but check this out. So, and by the way, don't judge me because I'm in shorts because it's hot in my little garage and I can hide because in Zoom you can't tell that I'm wearing shorts. But I can actually zoom in.
Oh wow!
So all of the participants will be on Zoom screens.
Okay.
And this is our virtual studio that we'll be talking about, and you can actually kind of zoom in to the sides.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. It's just a whole different game.
Oh my God. I'm gonna have to talk to you after the show. I got to figure out how to do that for our crew up here. That's cool.
I've been working hard on upping my game, but it's a new world. It's a new way to connect with people now. Like, you got to figure it out if you want to like make meaningful impact. I think people are so like Zoom fatigued to a degree that it's like, dude, do something different, please, God. Like, I can't do the same thing over and over again. I'm dying. But we're just trying to bring some energy and excitement to people's lives.
Yeah, I think that's very valuable right now. And it was funny because we were on a Teams meeting yesterday, and I did the all together screen.
Oh, it's hysterical.
You're in the theater. Yeah. And I sent the screenshot over to Stacey. I'm like, this is great.
The all together screen is terrifying.
Yeah, it's awesome. So
you just talked a little bit on a recent one of your shows that you did on personal brand versus company brand.
Oh yeah, I like that topic.
Yeah, I would like, can you just give us a short snippet of your beliefs in that topic? Yeah,
I mean, there's a huge mega push in our industry right now for like distributed local loan professionals to like build their personal brand and to kind of frame that up differently. It's, build their digital reputation and character so that if somebody looks for them online or finds them, they're gonna get a representation of them that they can be proud of, right? So like a strong personal brand, an emotional connection, more than just like a logo or a thing. And I love that. And the counter side of that is a lot of professionals at whatever company just posting the corporate brand. And it's just, and I'll use loanDepot because we're loanDepot people, but it's like just punching, everyone in the face with a loanDepot logo every 2 minutes. And I think both of those have a place. But my main challenge in the conversation was to the corporate brand. And the challenge is, in mortgage, a lot of corporate brands don't add actual value to their loan officers. They're not marketing nationally or hyper locally. Like, there's no commercials for them that could help the loan officer build some recognition or build some community influence, where they could be like, oh yeah, that company is reputable. So now that like I know like Stacy and Keith are reputable people, but now I've seen like loanDepot commercials. I've seen I now like, oh okay, I feel like more confident in that person. And so a lot of times, I think it's retail mortgage companies tend to fail on that side. They might have great leadership and great fulfillment and great flyers, but they're not actually adding any branding help to the local loan officer. So it was more of a challenge for corporate brands to step up and, show me the money. Because it's like, otherwise, what are you doing? Like, you might be checking the box that you're a good fulfillment house and a good leadership and a good, whatever else, but the brand box is empty. So it was just kind of a conversation about how they should complement each other. And it's also a call out to local loan professionals that, like, you're not alone, dude. Like, yeah, your personal brand matters, but you're not alone. The corporate brand needs to be helping you too, and they're synergistic.
I would agree with that totally. And building a brand, it takes a lot of a personal brand. That is, it takes a lot of fearlessness. A lot of folks are afraid to get in front of the camera right now, and that's the way that you have to build it. There's no shaking hands right now. There's no going to networking and building a brand that way. Nope. You got to get in front of the camera.
It's actually the luckiest thing that could ever happen to local mortgage pros, in my opinion, because I think it was dead man walking. Yeah. In 2018, pre-COVID, I was like, holy crap, the local pro's dead, because they're not hanging out with customers where the customers are making decisions and being influenced. Right. They're waiting down cycle.
Well, and let's talk about that. I'm on a bunch of community boards on Facebook, and a local resident posted, "Hey, I'm looking for a refinance on Facebook," and within like 4 minutes, there was 80 comments on that to where to go get your mortgage. And to that point, Alec, that's where the marketplace is today.
Yep.
And what are you doing in that marketplace? It's kind of a rhetorical question, but literally, what are you doing in that marketplace?
1000%. That is the marketplace. It is online. That's where it is. And people that don't think that have to just take a gut check moment and go, let's pull market share reports for any of your markets and say, tell me who's number one. And when it's an internet lender who has no local professionals, you're losing.
Yeah.
Like, and I hear all the excuses all the time, like, well, my realtors will never accept a deal from Quicken and blah, blah. And I'm like, they sure as hell are.
They're so good you don't even know it. That's what I tell people.
Reports, like, I could literally show you. Like, someone's accepted it. Like, it's just hysterical to me that everyone's just so head in the sand. Like, don't acknowledge reality. You're losing. And it could be a death of 1,000 cuts. You might not be losing the second. It might not be like a wave and now you're out. But like, if you're waiting for all of your business to come from realtor professionals forever, I think you're going to be on a slippery slope. Even
like during this time,
are battling for consumer attention in massive ways.
Yeah. I think during this time even has helped people who've been in the bank world for a long time realize that they need to step into an environment where they have more flexibility and able to do stuff like this, right? So I can't tell you how many people I've talked in the last few weeks that can't even have a LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, banks don't want people building personal brand at all. Yeah. They want their brand because they want you to be replaceable. They want you to be a cog in the wheel. I can just take you out and put another person in and it's the same experience. It's 100% what Quicken's doing and Zillow's doing. They're just trying to dehumanize and remove the consultative value of a professional with an AI or a chatbot or a virtual person who could be interchangeable the next day.
And we've all worked at banks, so we all have that experience. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you make someone interchangeable, then you could pay them a lot less.
Right.
Yeah. So what do you say to the person who says that our tech is moving so fast that that's going to replace the local professional?
Yeah. So what they're missing and what they're simplifying, because our tech is moving super fast, and what it's going to do is it's going to take care of the nurse functions of a loan. It's going to take care of the packaging and the temperature tech and the income qualification. It's going to take care of like the packaging and the positioning of a loan. What it's not going to take care of is the consultative process. Tech can't be a doctor. Everyone knows you don't diagnose yourself at WebMD. Mm-hmm. Like, everyone knows this. It's a joke, right? We joke about it. I went on WebMD and now I have cancer and I'm dying. And it's like, you have a cold. But at the same time, like, there are, I mean, here's a statistical fact. How many people were devastated financially with a bad loan they shouldn't have gotten in the Great Credit Crisis? Like, we know hundreds and thousands of Americans were devastated because they got bad consultation. Mm-hmm. And you can blame them. Their choice. They signed the line. They could have made a better decision. You can victim blame all you want, but they're the ones that ate it.
Yep.
So I look at that and I'm like, the consultative value is so important in our process that if you're trying to dehumanize it, like I'm almost like violently angry at you. Like you're oversimplifying it. Like that's not right. And so I kind of get mad at those big companies that are like, oh no, the professional doesn't matter. I'm like, you're damn wrong. And then the second piece, Keith, is just as equally important is if it's that easy to get a loan and push a button and I get a loan, then the question then becomes down is where are our customers going to push buttons?
Yeah.
So as a loan professional, that's the answer you have to answer. It better be with you. And so what skills do you need to make sure that you have the consultative background and experience to give someone a thoughtful, correctly structured transaction? And then are you in a place where you have enough influence with the general community locally and digitally where they're like, I need to get a loan, and they come to you?
Well, it's the consultative approach. It really hit home with me about 4 years ago. I was at a mortgage conference, and there happened to be a gentleman from Canada who said, I was talking about our process. He's like, you guys are still getting pay stubs and stuff? That's all automated, right? And so is their banking system. It's all automated. And it's like, I get to actually have the conversations I want to, which is the consultative process, not, hey, I need your extra pay stub. And I help so many more people get educated. They get empowered because they have education, and they go through the process so much more happily. And I was like, sweet, I can't wait till it's here. And this COVID thing has like put the whole automation on steroids, which I love. So
it's a huge blessing in disguise for our industry, for our salespeople, and for those that are taking advantage of it. Because right now, as we all know, we're all very busy. So we're all running around trying to manage a bunch of loans and a bunch of transactions and a bunch of stuff. But if we're not building the skill set that we're going to need tomorrow, it's going to feel like a Netflix blockbuster moment for a lot of people. Like, oh no, where'd all my business go? I'm like, you weren't working on this. Like we told you, like you weren't working on the skills to build that influence. Either somebody else did, and now you're not the guy or the gal anymore. And so
if you had to pick influence, and where would you put your influence right now, Alec? What would you tell that loan officer?
I'm generalizing influence as you could probably interchange that with like digital reputation or brand, but like if somebody's going to get a loan or buy a house or sell a house or do a refinance, what influence is who they think of for who they're going to go get that from.
Yeah.
And so like some of you and even people listening who are loan professionals might know, like for your friends and family, they likely think of you, hopefully, right? Because they have a personal relationship with you. So like they see you at events, they see you wearing a loanDepot t-shirt at the soccer game. Like they know you're in loans. And so they might be like, hey, I have a question, right? But imagine if you take that kind of influence from a close friend, and you could scale that to a large amount of people, to all of your past customers on a daily basis, not just on a monthly crappy drip mail, to all of the realtors that are in your community. If you can scale that using digital social media and tools, now when there is an opportunity and they're going to think of you. And that to me is where the influence game is. I'm weary of the word because it can get really thrown into like being an influencer.
Right.
Like, that's kind of like trashy, but that's not what I mean. Like
like the Essentia influencer?
It's just product placement moment. Rockstar.
I had to do it.
We'll have to add those hashtags.
Yeah. So I have a question for you, because I'm part of a group that is all about how to get better on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And this leader, really hates the term authentic.
Oh, yeah.
And
it's buzzy,
I
right?
love it, but because I'm part of the Modern Lending Playbook that you helped create, right?
Yeah.
So, oh my God, I would love for you two to go at it. But his whole idea of what authentic is not my idea of what it is. But what do you think about it?
Is it Steve Sims?
No.
Okay, because I had him on my podcast, and he's like, I hate the word authentic. It's garbage. It's crap. Because we're bastardizing it. It's like the term influencer. Influencer in the 90s meant something so different than it does today. Like if you were an influencer back in the glory days of American industry, like you were somebody that people wanted to be in connection with. They wanted to talk to you. You were someone who could connect people to things. You were helpful. Now influencer is somebody in like on the bathing suit selfie garbage. So you take the word authentic and it's been bastardized. And like now it's thrown around as a buzzword and a marketing term. And you got to be authentic, but no one knows what that means. And I think that you just need to be raw and real and human. It's why I love live so much, because you can't fake this.
Nope.
Like you can't produce this. If you ask me a question and I don't know how to answer it, or I say something dumb, like that's what happened. So I think that we need to start, even on these stupid words, moving more towards the spirit of what we're trying to talk about and communicate than just the word itself, because it's getting torn around. But I think humans need to show up in an unscripted, real way in order to build real relationship and influence, versus overproduced content that makes you a commercial that people just tune out as white noise.
Yeah, authentics is great, because I start all my consultations, because they're all Zoom meetings right now. I give everybody a tour of my treehouse that I'm sitting in. Like, this is the situation I'm in. It's my truth. I'm living in it. I'm working out of a treehouse right now.
Yeah, well, that's why I have no issue being like, this is just a wall of green stuff. Like, right. I don't care. Like, my garage, dude. Like, look, there's light. I'm just trying to figure it out like everybody else. Care?
Right. We're all in it together.
We're all in something. So what else, guys? What else are we talking about today?
Well, how about your book, Bypass? Where did that come from?
That's a fun topic.
Yeah.
So it is in 2018, when I saw what we've been just joking about, which is just the modern loan officer just getting bypassed, just like the internet, they're just not even talking to them. They don't even know Quicken's doing the loan in their community. Like, they're just bypassed entirely. I was like, I was building the model lending playbook at the time, and I was like, this is an opportunity that we have to pay attention to, or we're screwed. COVID hadn't hit yet, and I was like, we have to pivot. We've got to pivot as local pros. And so I started to compile the information, and then I really was like, I want something that I can hold on to after all the work I'm putting into. I want something that I can touch and feel and have. I hate like being like an author, because I think that feels icky. Like, I have a personal aversion to kind of like to gurus. Like, I have a really big love for people that are practitioners and are like in it and like doing stuff, versus someone who's like, you should do this and you'll be better. And I'm like, why don't you do it? And if it's that great, why aren't you doing any of it? And so that's my little aversion to the book thing, and that's also one of the reasons I gave I'm giving all the proceeds back to Freedom Alliance to support our vet, because this industry, even for all of us, I mean, it's been incredible for us. It's been an incredible industry. Like, I'm so blessed and thankful that I somehow fell into this industry, and even though I tell my daddy's a jerk for getting me involved. So I wrote a book, and then I recorded it in Audible, an audiobook, because I only do audiobooks now. And so it's actually my stupid voice reading it. So if you want to torture yourself, you can go download the Audible book, and you can hear me talk at your face. But it's tactical. It's meaning it's going to have a shelf life. It's not like a forever book. But I thought it was relevant, and I wanted to get something that I'd be proud of and I could touch and have. And so I worked hard on it.
No, it's awesome. I love it. Keith, questions?
So I want to kind of pull this. We've been talking typically mortgage centric. I mean, this transcends just mortgage, right?
Oh, I know.
There's a lot of red flags that are flying for the real estate community, other service oriented financial products. And I think about financial planners. Some of them are pivoting towards this. I mean, how far does this go, Alec?
I think it goes all the way. I mean, Gary Vee is very forward on this topic, and he says that brand is all that will matter in the end. Like end game stuff, it's just going to be brands, whether that's you personally as a brand, or it's the big mega brands. And I joke all the time, like Amazon is a big brand, and you don't give a crap who you're buying the product from.
No,
you don't care. You're just like Amazon. And that's where I'm like, so for all the people that are like, personal brand is all that matters. And I'm like, no, like it matters, but here's some examples of where it's not mattering. There's no people involved. You don't have a personal relationship with Amazon. like from
Well,
a
do you mean like they're ordering from like third-party vendors? They're not even ordering it from Amazon, and people don't even realize it?
Well, on Amazon, when you go look at like a what did I just buy? Like a extension cord or a surge protector from Amazon. There's an actual store and shop that is selling it. You can scroll down, you can see this is sold by Joe Smith. It's on there, but most humans don't care who's selling it. And then by the way, Amazon's been slowly inserting their own company in, so now there's Amazon products now. In the beginning, there were no Amazon products. It was just, now if you want to buy an Ethernet cable, they tell you, hey, what about our one that we make?
Yeah.
And you just buy that and slowly kill whoever used to sell that. So brand matters massively in a consumer-centric, if you're going to when consumers are making decisions. So I think that, again, they need to complement each other. I think that there's a difference between a transaction and a consultation. And most people will go to a big brand, a nameless face, for a transaction if there's trust there. But for a consultation or a diagnosis, it's like, I want a person. I want a pro. So I think that any company that offers consultative services, I think any company like the guy that installs pools, the pool company, needs to have a digital brand, because someone's going to go on Google and be like, pools in Seattle or whatever.
Yeah, we don't do that here.
Well, yeah, we don't do a lot of those here.
No pools in Seattle, but
there's got to be sites. Yeah.
Okay, indoor pools in Seattle.
So I think, Keith, to your point, it's relevant to thousands of business owners, small business owners especially. It's relevant to service providers. I mean, it's a massive branding is you could just call it marketing, and everyone would be like, oh yeah, we need to market. And they're like, okay, well then here's how you market now. And you just trick somebody into branding.
It's interesting though how many, I feel like it's still a very small number of people who are jumping into this branding or getting involved into the social media type branding. Most of my friends in the lending industry, if we go back to lending, they don't do any of this, especially right now. They would say they have no time.
To me, that's like a loan officer in the early 2000s would be like, I don't ever go talk to realtors. And I'm like, well, you're never going to be very successful.
Yeah.
I knew a lot of loan officers that didn't want to work with realtors in the early 2000s, and they tried to go after financial planners and divorce attorneys and CPAs, and I crushed all of them by 4x in production, because the business was with realtors. Like, that was the business. And yeah, you can get scraps from those groups, but if you want to be really successful, you got to go where the big fish are, and that was the realtors. The same way that building brand right now and all that stuff, that we're in the very early stages of it. And if someone's like, I don't play that game, and I'm like, you're not going to be very successful.
Yeah. How do you lead your division through this?
Yell at them a lot.
Yeah. Some of them are really active, just like in other parts of other divisions, right? And then
yeah, look, just like you or anybody else who's trying to help people, is you try to be helpful. So, you talk about tips and tricks and setups and getting prepared and best practices, micro steps. You do some coaching, you show them by doing it yourself. Yeah. Like, hey, come along, like what you guys are doing. I mean, you bring in other loan officers, you interview people, you're like, hey, come on, let's go. Get used to this, get comfortable here. It's different. I know it's weird, but it's important. And so you just kind of start to push and pull people both ways in. And the old saying's true: you can lead a horse to water, blah, blah, blah. You're not going to make it. They're not going to do it if they don't want to. But then the other thing you do is you start to find the people that are doing it now, and you start to build your squad. You start to recruit those people that are doing it now, who get it. And you're like, okay, I'm doing my best to take my existing team as far as they're wanting to go. But I'm also looking for the next generation that's going to come through this in the new direction, and I'm gonna recruit them.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's do it. Yeah, I have a team of like 80 per month, so that's great.
Yeah. What else?
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're good. We appreciate your time, Alec. I don't know if you have any final words you want to share or not, but we've taken up a lot of your time and know how busy you are. I appreciate your leadership.
It's only been 25 minutes, Stacy.
Yeah.
We got a great question. Who's your favorite superhero?
Oh, yes, superhero. So the people that know me know that I grew up on comic books and I'm a big nerd. And so that's an important question for me because I used to have my dad's trunk of comics in my room. And so whenever I was grounded from beating up my sister, I could only read comics. That was like no TV, no screens, no computers. And so growing up, it was Spider-Man all day long because I was the angsty teen and like I connected so much with Spider-Man. And I was like, that's my soulmate. But then as I got older now and I got kids and I'm doing other stuff, man, got to throw down with Captain America all day long, dude. Do the right thing, stand up for what's right, all that stuff. Like, I'm like, yeah, let's go. So that to me has started to pivot, my favorite superhero.
So is this a true story? So Chad Anderson had on a couple of the wives on a live, which was really freaking hilarious. It was my favorite one ever. And your wife was on, and she shared that you have, I believe, a bunch of costumes, superhero costumes, like displayed in the garage. Almost like somebody would like proudly display their Seahawk jersey or something. Do you do that with like a dozen superhero costumes?
So
I would like to see behind the green screen.
Let me see how to answer this. I'm a nerd, and I'm proud of it. And I throw a Halloween party every year. I've done it for like 15 years.
Nice.
And it's always been on the same crappy boat in the harbor called the Tiki boat, which one year actually like turned off and started drifting into the rocks. It's like that kind of a boat. It like they had to rip the dance floor up and fix the engine while we were sliding into the jetty. So like it's an incredible boat. I say boat, people are like, oh, boat. I'm like, no, it's the Tiki boat, bro. Like it's Tiki boat. And every Halloween, so it'd be costume themed, and we do big themed parties. And it was like we dressed up, right? So everyone would dress up. And so I started buying like nicer and nicer costumes over the years, to the point now that I have quite a collection. I got the guy who actually made Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool suit. I have that suit. I've got Ben Affleck's bat suit, the actual replica suit. I've got Captain America's from Avengers Endgame.
Wow.
And the shield and the stuff. And I got weird stuff. Like I got Freddy Krueger and It and like the weird masks and stuff. So yeah, and then I was like, well, I have all this stuff and it's nice stuff. I found like the guy in LA who would like build the suits, right? Like that's hard to do. You don't just go to like Amazon and buy this kind of stuff. And so you got to find the real dark web to get to the level that I play at. And so I just started collecting it. So it kind of became like a collectible thing. I haven't got anything new coming. COVID's kind of killing my Halloween spirit. But yeah, I have the real stuff. So it's fun at Halloween stuff coming out in the front yard and like they're like, what is that? And I geek out.
That's awesome. You left out the details.
Well, no, so because most people that know me, they either know me from like CrossFit gym or they're seeing me like deadlifting a bunch of weight or doing something, and they're like, and they walk into my garage like, oh my god, there's costumes, like what is happening? And I always tell it's Erica's like fetish, and that kind of gets it off my pressure.
No one would believe that for a second.
No, they're like, no, you're just a huge dork, and I'm like, yeah, it's true, super true. It's like one of those kids now that like I make my own money, so I'm like, I'm gonna buy this now because I'm a big kid.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all?
No doubt.
That is great.
Thanks for that question, Stacy. That was good. Back to mounting and branding and superhero costumes.
Deadpool
Dungeons and Dragons. My mask is back there. I don't have it.
Oh.
Well, I hate to bring it full circle, Alec, but it just shows the authentic you, my friend. Right?
Well, that's the point, right? Like, and this is kind of my a closing statement, if you will, for anybody listening. Like, if you hide your real self and you try to chameleon and show up as like a talking head and something you're not, you're losing this incredible opportunity for people to actually connect with you and want to do business with you, because we still have choice in this world. So if you're just like a boring, like I talk about debt to income ratio and that's who you are, like you're probably you're not opening the door for everyone else that might be like, that person likes like dorky stuff. Like I like dorky stuff. I like that person. Like Keith's in a treehouse. Like that's freaking cool. I want a treehouse. Like I immediately was like, could I do this? So it's just one of those things where, if you don't open that door to showcase your real self, you're losing out on all this opportunity, because there are so many unique individuals. Like, we've all taken personality profile tests, right?
Yeah.
And I'll use a great example. So in the DISC test, I'm a D, which is kind of like a driver, or kind of like like, I don't like small talk. I don't want to talk small talk. I want to I'm business oriented. Like, when I meet a realtor, I don't want to be like, how was your weekend? Because I really don't care. I care secondarily. I'm not a jerk, but like, let's talk about like this stuff. And then we can be like, I have the kids and blah, blah. Like, I want action. So guess what I do really well with? Loan officers who want the same thing, business partners who want the same thing, bosses who want the same thing, and guess who I don't do really well with? People that want to ask about my life, or they want me to ask them about their life. And they want me, like, my wife, her love language is question asking. I suck terribly at it. Somehow,
that's one of the love languages.
I'm working on it. So it's if you're an engineer type mind, and you're not like me, who gets all loud and charismatic and big and on the and green screen and crazy, then guess what? Those engineer type minds don't necessarily connect with me. They're like, you're going too fast. I want you to slow down. I want to go talk about numbers. So all of a sudden, I get people who are engineer type brains and thinkers, and they're like, well, I can't go on the internet. I can't make videos because I'm not exciting. And I'm like, stop. Just because you're not exciting in the language, like, you don't like what I put out, you watch other people. And so when you step up and showcase who you really are and how you really think, all of a sudden, all those people that resonate with that, you just made a huge connection to all those people. And so it's amazing. That's the opportunity. And that's what people are missing, because they're trying to be someone they're not. They're trying to overproduce stuff. They're trying to hide a fact of themselves that they think people won't like. I mean, I was talking to somebody who's trying to break into the Hispanic market, and she's a white chick from Boston with a gnarly Boston accent. And she's like, I can't get into the Hispanic market because a lot of them, they want to meet and talk to people that speak Spanish. And I'm like, yeah. Like, why do you think that? Because they have a connection with, like, when you talk to somebody from Boston and you're both hanging out and you both have the accent, are you immediately like, yeah, like, of course you are, because you have like a connection. So when you open the door and you showcase your real stuff and what you're insecure about and whatever, that whole group that has the same thing going on in their head instantly go, I like this person.
That's exactly what I like. That's the authentic. That's what I think of authentic.
Yeah.
Yes. Not
100%.
all the other stuff. Yeah. That's awesome. Love it.
Right on.
All right.
Right on.
We shut down. We shut down at 30 minutes, Alec. That's about all we can take.
I don't blame you. I can't take much more of me either. So it's totally.
Right on. Well, thanks again, Alec, for joining us.
Yeah, of course. You guys are super fun. Thanks for all you're doing up there. Wish I could get back to Seattle at some point.
I know.
Yeah, we will see you up
here.
Make that happen.
Yeah, COVID's just crushed the world, but we'll see.
Oh, well, we can all come together on video.
There you go.
Right on.
Good day. Bye, Alec.
Well, there we go. Well, join us next Thursday. We're going to be back at 10 a.m. Thursday morning for Real Estate Now, and we've got a builder update next week. So join us. We'll check in on the building community and see how those new constructions are moving right along in COVID times. Take care and see you next week.